Good morning, grade 5. Hi, can anyone tell me or give me some information about water on Earth? Is there water on Earth or not?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Of course.
Anyone give me some information about water or Earth's water? Do you know any information about this? You don't know anything about Earth's water? Earth's water?
Mr. Most of Earth's water is salty.
Yes, thank you very much. This is very good. This is very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Most of Earth's water is salt water, and only very small amount is fresh. طيب, Hassan Alauna, can you add anything? Do you want to say anything? Sireen, Hassan Hajir, anyone? Can you tell me anything else about Earth's water? Anything you know?
Most of it salty
Yes.
and it's not
طيب.
water.
We can say that most of Earth water found where in oceans. Okay?
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Type in this. This is page 138. 138. Fine. طيب. Living things or organisms need salt water or fresh water to survive. Do we need fresh water or salt water to survive? What do you think?
Fresh water.
Fresh water.
Fresh water.
Fresh
Right.
water.
Is
Fresh water.
all water on Earth liquid?
No.
Okay.
No.
طيب.
No.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So not all water on Earth is liquid. So what are water on Earth found? Do you think that water on Earth found in a solid form? Can we find water in a solid state?
Yes.
What we call
Yes.
it when it is solid?
It will be ice.
Yes. We call water when it is solid, ice or snow. Type, can we find, is there water on Earth in a gas form?
Yes.
Can water on Earth found in a gas form? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
When water becomes gas, what we call it?
Water vapor.
Excellent.
Evaporation.
So as other types of materials, water is a matter. So it can be found as solid, liquid, or gas.
Liquid
With
or
water-
gas.
What? طيب. When water found as solid, we call it ice or snow. When it is gas, we call it water vapor. And when it is liquid, most of Earth's water is liquid in liquid form, and we drink it. As liquid water. طيب. Thank you very much. The first lesson 1, is talking about the water cycle. And I think that you know or you are familiar with the water cycle. The water is always cycling through the air. It, for example, first it evaporates from oceans, rivers, lakes, or even evaporates from land. And when it evaporates, it becomes water vapor and go to the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, it condenses and turns again to liquid water and forms the clouds. And finally, these clouds, when they become too heavy, what happened then? What happened to the clouds when the water or these clouds becomes too heavy?
It
What?
rains.
A precipitation happens. The water in these clouds falls on Earth as precipitation. Precipitation means rain, snow, hail, whatever. And when precipitation falls on Earth, It may go to the oceans, it may go to the rivers, to the lakes, it may seep under the ground or soak under the ground and make the groundwater. And also it may run off on the ground. This is generally the water cycle. This is a summary for the water cycle. Also in lesson 2, we'll talk about Earth, fresh water. And finally, in the last lesson, lesson 3, we'll talk about Earth's oceans. Right, let's start. Let's start with lesson 1. Open your books, page
144.
yes, 144. 144. Do you remember this machine? What?
Yeah.
What does this machine do?
Like
It's
it takes the snow and
It makes snow. This machine makes snow. Right.
makes no.
Good morning, Salma.
Mister,
Okay.
you put in water, then
Yes. This
uh,
machine, thank you. We
air, then
put inside that water, and then this machine changes the water
ice.
into ice. We
No.
need it. This machine is used in some cities or some countries. For example, when they have Olympic Games, some types of sports need ice. Without ice, this sport can't be. We can't play this sport.
Can't be done.
Skiing and snowboarding. These two sports need the snow. But if we want, for example, in the Olympic Games, these sports are played in Olympic Games. When there is no snow, we need to use this machine. This machine is using or change water to ice, but using this machine is not good for the environment. Okay, it's not good for the environment. This is general. يعني هاي القطعة or this books or this text is مش مطلوب منكم in the exam, but just to know. طيب.
Mister, we take it.
Oh yes, I know.
Took it, sorry.
Fine.
Mister,
Fine.
we
Turn
took,
to.
Mister, we took this one too.
Yes, okay. This is a revision. Fine. Water on air, page 146. 146.
Mister, why do we have another quiz?
Quizzes, not exams. Maybe in the after you finish the second exam, when you finish all your second exams in math and English and Arabic, maybe we will take, of course, quizzes, not exams. Okay, we have the first exam, the second exam, and the final exam. But the final exam, it's too early to talk about the final exam. Right. But we have quizzes or short quizzes, short exams. Right. Earth is called what? The water planet, because water is everywhere on the planet. As you know that most of Earth's surface is covered with water. More than 70%. 70% of Earth's surface is covered with water. Only 30% of Earth is land. Okay? And most of this water is found in oceans. Right? And water, of course, water surrounds you all the time. There is underground water, there is water vapor. Wherever you go, I am now in the classroom. Water surrounds me because there is water vapor in the room. And in your room, there is water vapor, but you don't see this. This water vapor is invisible, so you can't feel it. Right. Good morning, Rani. ليش تأخرتي؟ طيب. Okay. water and air. Water surrounds you all the time, not just when you are bathing or swimming. Water, شباب فاهمين هذا الحكي؟ Is it clear?
Yes.
طيب. Water surrounds you all the time in your classroom, in your home, even in the desert. Even in the desert, there is water vapor. You can also, in the desert, there is groundwater. طيب. So the question is, where is water in these dry places? Water is in the air as water vapor and ground. Okay. Much of the water you cannot see is an invisible gas called water vapor. This is very important, please. The water vapor is invisible gas. Okay. Much of the water you cannot see is an invisible gas. It is an invisible gas. Invisible means that you can't see by your eyes. It is called water vapor. It is in the air that surrounds you. Air always has some water vapor. In the atmosphere, there is always water vapor. Sometimes our water vapor in the air changes to what? To liquid water. This process is called condensation. When water vapor in the air changes to liquid water, this is called condensation because it changes from gas to liquid. Okay? It changes from gas to liquid, and this happens when it cools. When it cools, it loses energy. When it loses energy, it changes the particles of the water vapor or of the gas of the water vapor moves very slowly, and finally they change. And this happens when the temperatures go down. Understood? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now I want you to distinguish between two important concepts or two important words in science. Many people can't distinguish between water vapor and steam. Many people think that they are the same thing, but in science, they are different. It is important to understand that water vapor and steam are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. They are different. Type.
Mr. What is steam?
What?
What is a steam?
يلا, we will talk about this. طيب. عمركم شفتوا لما ماما بتكون تغلي المي تشوفوا إشي طالع؟
Yes.
This is steam. Steam, you can see it when water is boiling. Water vapor, what is the difference between water vapor and steam? Water vapor is usually at the same temperature as the air around it. يعني. This is, please highlight it. Suppose that the temperature of air or air temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the water vapor in this air will have the same temperature, 20 degrees Celsius. Today, for example, the temperature or the air temperature is somehow cold. Till now, the temperature of the air is cold. I guess that it is maybe 12 degrees Celsius or less. So the water vapor today, the temperature of water vapor is the same as the air temperature. So it is 12 degrees Celsius, I guess, of course. When the air temperature is hot, the water vapor will be hot and the same temperature. For example, in summer, the temperatures may reach 40 degrees in hot days. Okay, the temperature of water vapor will be the same as the air. Always, the water vapor has the same temperature as the air around it. Right, what about steam? Steam, however, is above the air's temperature. Yani if the temperature of air is 20 degrees, the steam will have larger temperatures. It may be 30 or 25, whatever. So if the steam is not the same, the temperature of the steam is always above the air's temperature. طيب, when this is also another important thing to distinguish between them. Steam, it refers to steam. It is created when water boils. عمرك شفت مية بتغلي؟
Yeah.
مش بتشوفوا إيش طالع؟
Yes.
هذا هو الستيم. This is
فقاعات.
ايوه مش فقاعات ايش قصدي اللي بيطلع منها البخار هذا.
البخار.
It is steam. It's not water vapor because water vapor is invisible. So this is steam. طيب, what you see, it is created when water boils. When water boils, what you see as steam is actually, it is tiny water droplets. It's a water droplets, but they are very tiny and you see them. So the differences. So when hot water meets the cool air, steam forms. So the differences between steam and water vapor. Shabab, is it clear? Let's.
Yes.
The differences between water vapor and steam. First.
أستاذ وكمان بتكون درجة الحرارة بتكون كتير عالية صح؟
لا, in the temperature of water, not of the air. يعني.
Okay.
طيب. First, water vapor is usually at the same temperature as the air around it, while steam is above the air's temperature. This is the first thing. Steam created when water boils. Okay, so you see what you see when water is boiling, what you see is actual steam. Steam is a tiny water droplets. They form, or steam form, when hot water meets the cool air in the room. Okay, طيب. Is it clear?
Yeah.
طيب, let's do this exercise.
Yeah.
Let's do the following exercise, please. No one answer without permission, and we will solve it together. طيب. Early on a summer morning, the grass is wet. Have you ever looked, or did you notice that, or do you notice that always, or in most days of the year, at the early morning, you see that the grass is wet? Did you notice this, or do you notice this? طيب. If it did not rain and there is no rain, so the question is, where did the water come from? How did the grass get wet? How or why the grass get wet? Please think or use your mind or use your science knowledge to answer this question.
Can I try? Mr. Can I try?
طيب, يلا سارة ولا مين اللي حكى؟
Sarah.
يلا أول شيء listen to Sarah then Salim. يلا.
When water vapor, maybe it's because of water vapor.
Again.
Is it because of the water vapor?
Okay, but what happens to water vapor?
When it touches when it comes, it gets the grass wet.
طيب, thank you Sarah. Listen to Sadim. غسان يلا احكي يا غسان.
I'm not understand.
طيب wait يا غسان ماشي. Sadim. غسان, you don't understand this question or everything.
I want to answer.
غسان, انت مش فاهم السؤال ولا مش فاهم الدرس؟
لا الدرس.
طيب ماشي.
احمد
ابو خير. سدين, خلينا نسمع سدين بعدين احمد ابو خير.
At day and at the night they have different temperatures, so it is when different temperature change the grass becomes wet.
اوكي طيب احمد, ثانك يو سدين. احمد ابو خير.
when it becomes cold, the water vapor become dew, and it's the grass gets wet.
Excellent. Why do you think, why the water vapor becomes dew? Because it condenses. Thank you. Thank you, Ahmed. So, as you know, there is water vapor in the air. And during the night, at night, the air cools. The air becomes cold. The air becomes cold. So water vapor in the air condenses and changes to liquid. And so you see droplets of water on the grass. This is water vapor that is condensed or changed to liquid water because the temperatures go down. So water vapor cools and change to dew. Thank you. So write the answer, please. ايش كتبت؟ هي ثالثة ثاني هسه بدرسهم ثالث من الرابع للثامن هسه الحصة الخامسة عند الخامس أنا خامس طيب so the water was in the air, as you know. The water was in the air. طيب. At night, the air get colder. The air got colder. Okay. And water vapor formed water droplets or condensed, formed water droplets on the grass. So because water vapor in the air cools when the temperature of the air, when the air at night got colder, the water in the air or water vapor in the air condenses and changes to water droplets, or we call this dew. بنسميه ندى. And can you tell me other
ايش بنسميه يا استاذ؟
ندى dew DEO. طيب, can you see this phenomenon? هذا الاشي, can you see it in other places? We can see, yes, in other places. Do you know where?
Where?
On the windows, also on the cars. الصبح مرات لما تطلع تلاقي السيارة تاعت بابا أو ماما عليها مي. The same thing, because water in the air.
بيكون زي هيك فيها مي مرات الصبح.
على القزاز أو على شوف هذا the same thing. Water in the air or water vapor. When the air gets colder, the water vapor formed water droplets or condenses, and this is called dew. طيب. Finished?
No. Mr. Amdan. I am not done.
Take your time. في ناس
I'm done.
من الميتينج.
Done.
Done.
اوكي طيب يلا
Done.
okay. Movement of Earth's water. Of course, water on Earth is always moving. Okay. With water vapor in the air is only a very small part of all the water in Earth. Water vapor in the air or in the atmosphere make only a small amount of all water on Earth. Most of Earth's water near the surface is in its ocean. But ocean water can become water vapor in the air around you. يعني the most of Earth's water near the surface is in its ocean. Okay, only a very small amount of water on Earth found as water vapor, or the water vapor in the air is only a very small part of all water on Earth. Most of Earth's water is in oceans, and this water in the ocean may change or become part of the water vapor when it evaporates. When water in the oceans evaporates, it becomes part or it becomes water vapor in the air around you. طيب. This happens when water particles that make up the ocean become water vapor that moves above Earth's surface. طيب. So in this paragraph is talking about evaporation. Water in oceans or liquid water in oceans can evaporate and becomes water vapor, and this water vapor becomes part of the air around you. Right. Water on Earth is always or constantly moves. The word constantly means always. Okay? The water on Earth is always in motion. It always moves. This movement of water or it moves in a cycle or a series of events or the processes that repeat. Okay? As it moves, so the meaning of cycle, this is the meaning of cycle. A cycle means a series of events or processes that repeat. Anything, for example, when you say that life cycle, plant's life cycle or animal life cycle, this is a series of events or processes that repeat themselves. They are always repeat. And for this reason, we call it a cycle. A cycle like this, something that a series of events or processes that always repeat. They always repeat. For example, in the plant life cycle, it starts with a seed, then a mature plant, then a seed again. So a cycle are a series of events or processes that repeat. Water always moving in a cycle. In a cycle. This cycle is like this. The cycle of water is like this. Look here. For example, water evaporates. Okay. Evaporates. This is water. Water on Earth as liquid water. Water in the oceans, water in the rivers. It evaporates and go to the air or to the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, it condenses and form the clouds. Okay. Do you remember the water cycle? So when it condenses, it forms the clouds in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay. And these clouds, when they become too heavy or the water droplets or water drops in the clouds become too heavy, they fall on Earth as precipitation and go back to Earth. precipitation. Okay, so this is simply the water cycle. We will talk about, inshallah, we will talk about water cycle in more details. So water on air, and water on earth, water on land and oceans, on rivers, on lakes, evaporates. Okay, when it evaporates, it goes to the atmosphere. Okay, it becomes water vapor and part of the air. Then in the atmosphere, this water vapor cools and condenses to form clouds. These clouds fall on earth as precipitation, as rain, snow, or hail, and it go back to the air. On earth, this precipitation may go again to the oceans, to the rivers, to the lakes. Also, it may go to the ground or underground water, whatever. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water cycle, any cycle means a series of events or processes that repeat. As it moves, water can change into any of its forms. Water can change to water vapor, to liquid water, or to ice. What is the water cycle? It is the continuous movement of water on air. It is the continuous movement of air. Highlight it. Continuous means something that is always happening. Continuous. You know what is continuous in English, okay? There is a continuous verb. Continuous, something that is happening and is always happening. Okay, so the water cycle will not stop. Water cycle is impossible. It's impossible. It will go thousands or millions of years ago, there is water cycle. Now there is water cycle. And forever there is water cycle. If the water cycle stops, so life on earth will stop because water is very important. If the water cycle stops, there is no precipitation. The life on earth will not be continued. So water cycle is continuous movement of water on earth. Thank you for listening. I want to end the meeting. See you, inshallah. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.